I'm Stacy, host of Two Chicks and a Goat. Welcome to our channel. If you're new, please subscribe and hit the bell below so when we make something new content, you'll be notified. Just heading out to the farm to pick up Goose. She's volunteering out there feeding the horses and the goats. Today I'm going to be talking about my Yamaha Royal Star. If you've seen in other videos, the fuel pump is cutting in and out, so I've got a new fuel pump. I'll let you know where I picked that up from and show you how I switch it out. So as soon as we get back to the garage, we'll get that changed out. See you there. Hey, so we're back in the garage here. I've got the seat off and the one side panel off the motorcycle already. Ta-da! So we're just getting geared up to change the fuel pump on my Royal Star Yamaha. So wanted to do a little intro on where I got this thing. So priced it out at my local Yamaha dealership here, and they're $475. And if you need it right away, you need it right away. Mine's been slowly going, so I made it through the summer. Now we're into winter. I was actually going to try to keep it a little bit longer, but it's been acting up more and more. I've been keeping this in my saddlebag just in case with some tools. But I actually got this on Amazon. Exact same part number, everything. It looks identical. But it was $64, $67, something like that, to my door. But it did take just almost 2 months to get here. COVID didn't help, so it said it was going to be here in 30 days, and it didn't. So if you have the time to wait, you obviously want to save the money. I'll let you know on further videos on how it actually works, if there's any issues with it. But side by side, it almost looks identical to the unit that I'll be pulling out of the bike. So, you know, now I have $410 to spend elsewhere. Well, you know, okay. So I'll get going here. If you haven't taken your seat off your bike or the side panels before, just check out some of my other videos. There'll be links below showing you how to take that off. But for this one here, I've got everything sort of stripped down. So we'll go over to the bike and we'll get that off. Oh, missed a spot. First, what tools you'll need. So, start this guy up. So, these are the tools you'll need. Obviously, your Allen wrench to get your seat and your things off. You need some small wrenches just to take off your fuel lines. And then you'll need a small socket set to be able to pull the brackets off that hold your pump. And like all videos, you will need a drink of your choice to make it through the adventure. And because of the fuel that will come out of the unit, I'll get a small little cup plus a rag just so it doesn't drip everywhere. Okay, so let's go over to the bike and let's get working on this. Let's start. Okay, over here at the bike, so make sure ignition's off, all that stuff. And what I'm going to do is disconnect the fuel pump first from this little guy, which I forgot to mention at the beginning. I believe the last time I did this is much easier with a squeaky chair. And a flathead screwdriver. So hopefully I'm just not in the way of this or smashing into the camera so much that it's annoying as all heck. But last time I did this was with my fuel filter, so it's been a bit. So I might have to refigure this out. Push down. Oops, bumped you. So stick it in, push it down, and then you can pull it out. So they're all good. Last time I didn't have to cut this strap. I managed to feed it through. Ta-da! Okay, so now that we're out, now we'll get our ratchet set. Should have probably did this in advance so it's a little bit faster for you guys, but luckily with the thing of video, I can snap my fingers and we're already there. Okay, so last time I took this out. I was trying not to, so I might get a wrench in there, see how far I can get this out without having to take this off. But I have a feeling I'm going to have to take it off. I'm trying not to because it actually is a pain in the butt to get it in there. Oops. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Do not lose those. As I say that, I drop it on the ground. Oh, we're being interrupted by one of my sponsors. We'll start over in a second. Okay, phone call's over. Back. I snuck away and picked up a wrench. So I'm going to try to get this guy off without taking off this plate because it's just a pain in the butt. So we'll see if the fuel pump will come out enough for me to do that. Don't remember exactly if it will or not because I haven't taken this out in quite a while. Okay, so I think I might be able to get the lines out. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to need my rag, my little cup. So I'm going to put my rag in here. Get my little cup ready so when I take these lines off, it doesn't put fuel all over my motor recycle. Okay. So these are just squish clippies. Squish them together. Sounds easier than it is. Being a very klutzy right now. Okay. Squish together. Squish together. Keep saying this, but it's still not working. Squish together. I think the video's stuck on repeat. Okay, I might have to fast forward to when I actually have this off. There, see, that's how it's done. Let's get the other guy so we can try to pull both these off at the exact same time. I had this off about a month ago, I believe. Look at that's how it's done. Slide them off. Good to go. Okay. So make note which line goes where. So got my line has, hopefully you can see this, I've got a checkered hose on my right intake and a smooth hose on my left intake. So I believe that comes from the tank or from my fuel filter. This comes from the tank. So this is my in and this is my out. So you want to make sure that that goes back on. I do recommend taking your phone, taking a picture of it, so when you're putting it back together, it's not backwards. So that would just be a pain in the butt. Okay, so normally these wiggle off. Okay. Another thing you want to make sure you're is that your line for your fuel tank fuel is turned off, which I honestly forgot and then just did real quick now. But okay, I caught it in there. Now I want to get this other line off. This one is a little bit more tricky now that I got fuel on my fingers. You don't want to tear the line, so be very gentle. But you just need enough to pop this out. Woo! That guy was violent. Violent! So we have this out, so now I've got to get this cradle off and put it on the new fuel pump. So not all videos work out. So, my miraculous fuel pump that I bought, which I thought I checked out, I missed one key thing. The pins, see in there, are the different way than on my fuel pump. So, what I'm going to have to do is end up cutting off the end and soldering it on, which is not really my specialty. So at this point, I'm worried that I'm going to not have a motorcycle for Monday. So I rather deal with the pump cutting in and out. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting this pump back in. And once I figure this all out, I will finish this video. So if it's posted, there's more to come. See, they're not all perfect. Sometimes you just screw up. And you got to work through it. So I'm going to work through it. So this is the mess I have now. And my entire garage smells like fuel. But I got whiskey. And that smells a hell of a lot better. So I'm going to go do that. And hopefully the next part of this video starts. Ta-da. Wait. Back on the garage. It's the next day. So my last drop off was that my new unit has, the cables are actually different. I didn't notice that. So I'm not in the mood to cut these off, resolder the new one on. So that's going to be a whole nother project. And luckily my fuel pump still is working and running. So for the basics part of this video, it literally was to show you how to pull a fuel pump and put one back on. So I will put my old one back on so you can see how that's done. Hopefully I don't have any more issues, and then I'll have to figure out the other issue there. And when I find the new fuel pump with the proper end, I'll put a link below. But for right now, I'm going to look at potentially maybe changing out this end later. This guy here, pain in the butt. And get it all fixed up. So I'll get it up on the bike and show you putting that fuel pump back on. Let's get back on track. Wait, day 2, 2-day project. Should have been like 40 minutes. So we're back at the bike. I'm going to get this fuel pump reinstalled back in. So our first thing to do is hook up the lines. So as I suggested earlier, was to take a picture so you know which line goes into which side. So I need to take our fuel pump. We know it goes in this way right here. So look that way. Look that way. I'm going to just turn you so you're looking that way. Okay. Okay. So we know it goes in this way. So we have our intake and our output. So our intake we want to come into from our fuel filter, and then our output into our motor. So as mine indicated, we had the checkered line, that's our engine, and our regular line came from our fuel filter. So I'm going to get that guy on first. And then we have our squishy cables. Squishy cables. clamps, squishy clamps, so they're easy to go on. Of course, I need the easy one first. And now we have the one from our tank, which is going to be a little more difficult because I don't have as much slack on this guy. So we have to get him on. Fat fingers in the way. Yes, it would have been easier if I would have took that off, but I was being lazy yesterday when I decided to do that. So as you can see, it is tight. Try and hold the hose, push it on, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You want to make sure it is flush, so it's up. Now I need to get my clamp. Probably gonna have to use these guys. Get in there a little bit better. Both clamps on, out of the way. Perfectly set. Oh, sorry, I put my fingers right on your face. That was ignorant. We have our bolts. So we'll get our pump into place. I'll put our first bolt in here just to hold it in there. That's not good. Almost dropped my drink. So tighten these guys up. Snug, 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 snug. I'm back up here. Stop looking at the chrome. Look me in the eyes. Okay. So we're all good. Got the fuel pump hooked back up. Both lines hooked back up. We're all good. So now we have our, and I'll move this little guy here. We have our cable. So this was fed through this loop. Again, I was lazy yesterday, didn't take off this bracket. Okay. And let's get this in here. This guy then feeds around. Clips into there. Keeps all snug. Down in there. Perfectly good. Nice and snug over there. Do you need to look again? Okay. So look in there. So we're talking about, so your line should be nice and snug up in here. Once you put your plate on, it'll be nice and protected. Nothing in its way. So before putting your plate back on, what we'll do is get the key, turn it on, make sure you hear your pump click in. So right now, your fuel is off. We can turn it back to on. 1, 2, we can also check once the fuel is flowing back through if you have any leaks. So we'll grab the key, we'll just turn the ignition on and see if we hear this guy kick in. So let me grab my key and see if we can hear sweet music. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got her all hooked up. Power's on. Everything's good to go. We're in neutral. Our fuel is back on. We're going to want to turn our battery on. Or power on. And... Okay, so we had really slow, but heard this puppy click in. Noisy good. Cool. So, put my fingers underneath, no leaks coming down, pumps in there tight. As it was running, I can actually feel the fuel pump clicking. And that's what you want to hear. If it was drained totally, completely drained, then as soon as I turned the ignition on the bike, you would have heard the pump going, and it's quickly pumping up to build pressure, just like any kind of pump. So we're all good. If you don't get the initial pumping sound, 1, check that your fuel is on. 2, then check your connections down in here. So you want to make sure that your wiring is connected up. And again, if you're still having an issue, then check your fuses, because you might have popped a fuse when we were doing some stuff. But more or less, that's it. Now you just need to put your side housing back on. Here, I'll move you again. So you put your side panel back on here, and then your seat. And you're ready to rock and roll. Head down the road with your new fuel pump. I got my old fuel pump in. So I took it out, put my heart in his hand. And that said it's good enough and put it back. So I'll work on my issue with the one that I ordered and see if we can do that. But it just shows not every video works out. And everything you do with your bike's not going to turn out perfect. But stick with it and you'll get it done. So tomorrow is Monday and it's supposed to be freaking gorgeous. We're already planning on having a bonfire in the backyard, cooking some hot dogs for supper. And I might take this puppy out for a test drive because it's supposed to be 20-ish and 60 out tomorrow. Not bad for, March 10th, 2021. So we'll see you on the road. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell below. Make some comments. You know who I'm talking to. You right there. Subscribe. Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. See you on the road. Let's clean up. Have yourself a drink. And call it a night because I think it's 10 o'clock and I've got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Go to work. Damn work thing got in the way. Didn't win 649 once again. One day, I'm telling you.